Christmas morning, 1996. A wealthy family in Boulder, Colorado wakes to find their 6-year-old daughter missing. A ransom note is left behind. But before the day ends, her body will be found inside their own home. This is the case of JonBenét Ramsey, a child beauty queen whose murder became one of the most infamous unsolved crimes in American history. December 26, 1996. The Ramsey family wakes to find JonBenét gone. A 2.5-page ransom note demands $118,000, the exact amount of John Ramsey's recent work bonus. Police arrive. The house should have been sealed, but mistakes pile up fast. Friends and family roam freely through the home, contaminating evidence. Hours later, John Ramsey searches the basement and finds his daughter's body in a small room. She had been strangled with a homemade garrote. There were signs of blunt force trauma. And yet, the ransom note sat upstairs, suggesting a kidnapping. From the start, suspicion split into two camps. One, the Ramseys themselves. Police found no signs of forced entry. The ransom note was unusually long, written with pen and paper from inside the house. Many believed it was staged. Two, an intruder. Some investigators claimed DNA evidence on JonBenét's clothing pointed to an unknown male. The Ramseys, they argued, may have been guilty only of negligence. The media frenzy exploded. Headlines painted JonBenét as the perfect victim, a child beauty queen with blonde curls and pageant crowns. The case became a spectacle, and the Ramseys were caught between grief and public suspicion. Despite years of investigation, countless interviews, and national coverage, no one was ever charged. Theories swirl to this day. Parental involvement. Some believe the note, the staging, and inconsistencies point to JonBenét's parents. Burke Ramsey, her brother. Speculation arose that a sibling fight turned deadly, with parents covering it up. Burke has always denied involvement, and no evidence proves this theory. An intruder. A stranger breaking in, committing the murder and leaving DNA behind remains a possibility. In 2008, DNA tests seem to rule out the family, but many still aren't convinced. JonBenét Ramsey was 6 years old when her life was stolen on Christmas night. Nearly 3 decades later, her murder is still unsolved, clouded by botched investigation, media frenzy, and endless theories. Was it her family? A stranger? Or something far darker that investigators missed? Until the truth comes out. JonBenét's case remains one of the most haunting mysteries in American crime history. It was supposed to be the perfect family holiday. Warm nights, ocean breeze, and quiet evenings in a small Portuguese town. But on one of those nights, inside a simple resort apartment, a 3-year-old girl vanished, and the world has been searching for her ever since. This is the story of Madeleine McCann, a case that is not just tragic, but filled with disturbing questions, unsettling theories, and a mystery that remains unsolved to this very day. The McCanns were a British family of 5, Kate and Jerry, both doctors, and their 3 children, Madeleine, the eldest, and her 2 younger twin siblings. In late April 2007, they traveled with friends to Praia da Luz, a quiet seaside town in Portugal. Their group stayed in holiday apartments at the Ocean Club Resort. From the outside, it was paradise. But the choices made here, on this trip, would change everything. The parents often dined at a tapas bar just across the resort. Instead of babysitters, they took turns walking back to check on the kids every 20 or 30 minutes. They believed it was safe. They believed nothing could happen. But on May 3rd, 2007, they were wrong. That evening, Madeleine was put to bed with her younger siblings around 7 p.m. By 8:30, Kate and Jerry joined their friends for dinner. The tapas bar was only about a minute's walk away. At 9:05, Jerry checked on the children. Madeleine was there, safe, asleep. At 9:15, another parent from the group looked in. Again, nothing unusual. But sometime between then and 10 p.m., everything changed. When Kate returned for her check at 10 o'clock, she walked into a nightmare. The bedroom door was open wider than she'd left it. The window was ajar. The shutters had been raised. And Madeleine's bed was empty. Kate searched the apartment, calling out her daughter's name. But there was no answer. And then came the words that would echo across the world. Madeleine's gone. The alarm was raised instantly. Guests, staff, locals, everyone searched. Portuguese police arrived quickly. Roadblocks were set up, and the nearby beach was combed. But despite the frantic search, Madeleine was nowhere to be found. And here is where the story takes a darker turn. Because in those crucial early hours, mistakes were made. The apartment wasn't sealed off. Dozens of people walked through, contaminating potential evidence. Vital time was lost. The chance to find Madeleine that night may have slipped away forever. The Portuguese police began to suspect the worst. Was Madeleine abducted? Or had something happened inside that apartment? As days passed without answers, attention turned to Kate and Jerry themselves. Why had they left the children alone? Why were their statements inconsistent? By September, just 4 months after Madeleine disappeared, both parents were declared official suspects, arguidos. The media frenzy exploded. Some believed the McCanns were grieving parents. Others believed they were hiding something darker. But after months of investigation, no evidence linked them to Madeleine's disappearance. Their suspect status was eventually dropped. Still, the questions lingered. If it wasn't them, then who was it? Over the years, multiple theories have dominated the case. Stranger abduction. That Madeleine was taken by a predator who knew the children were left alone. Burglary gone wrong. That intruders broke in, Madeleine woke up, and they took her. Parental involvement. A theory that refuses to die, despite lack of evidence. Trafficking networks. Some believe Madeleine was targeted by organized criminals. And then, in 2020, a chilling lead emerged. German prosecutors announced they had a prime suspect, Christian Bruckner, a convicted sex offender with a history of violent crimes. He had lived near Praia da Luz at the time of Madeleine's disappearance. Authorities say they have evidence tying him to the case. But they haven't revealed what that evidence is. And to this day, he has not been charged with Madeleine's abduction. It has now been over 18 years since Madeleine vanished from her bed. Despite one of the largest and most expensive missing persons investigations in history, no trace of her has ever been found. No body, no confirmed sightings, nothing. Her parents continue to search. Investigations remain active in the UK and Germany, but the truth still lies hidden. The disappearance of Madeleine McCann is not just an unsolved mystery. It's a story of unanswered questions, failed leads, and the haunting reality that sometimes people vanish, and the world never finds out why. Was Madeleine taken by a stranger in the night? Was it an accident covered up? Or is the truth buried in a place no one has thought to look? Until the day real answers come. This case remains one of the most chilling disappearances of our time. What do you believe happened to Madeleine McCann?